dia, Portugal!
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show on a leap day in this leap year of 2024, and the live stream and the podcast, of course. Great to be with you on this slightly, we can make it auspicious. I think it's an exceptional day by definition, isn't it? This happens every 4 years to balance up the calendar, basically. That's the idea, is it not? And it's one of those things you grow up with, and there we go again. Here we are. Wouldn't it be funny if you were born today and you only had a birthday once every 4 years, that sort of thing? And I thought maybe we'll dig a little deeper and see what's going on, and maybe just kick back and chat a little bit, chewing the fat this morning with Mrs. M, who's joining us. And, it's a little loophole in the ordinary calendar diary of things, so I thought it'd be quite interesting it's not a public holiday, by the way. For some people it'd be like, what are you talking about? It's just an ordinary Thursday, and in many ways, of course, it is. And I thought we could dig a little deeper, scratch the surface of what it means to have a leap year, leaping into the unknown, as many of us have done, leaping to Portugal. What will the future bring? What's the unknown going ahead from here? And does the future we imagined leaping into when we first came to Portugal, does it look anything like? That's what I want to talk about with Mrs. M, actually. What does the new, we've had this idea of the new normal. What's the new future? Because I think there was a consensus and no, not consensual, really. No, definitely not. There was a consensus about the future, wasn't there? A collective consciousness consensus about the future. And I think that the events of the last 2 or 3 years, 4 years have changed that. And it's like the elephant in the room to me. There is an impending sense of something. I reach for my favorite phrase of the moment. Everyone knows what's going to happen. They just don't know when. So it's a conversation around those sorts of things. And by definition or by implication or inference, it's going to be a little bit nebulous because we're talking about the future. And that necessarily means some guesswork, doesn't it? But I think some of the most interesting predictions or thoughts about the future come from completely out of left field, but also looking at the rhyme and rhythm of human history and behavior. And there are some clues there about what might happen in these coming, let's call it 5 or 10 years. I think that's the time frame we'll give to the conversation this morning after we've done the big Gumper Gathering check-in. So if that sort of conversation is a little bit too navel-gazing for you, which I'll be having when Mrs. M arrives here, and certainly from about 9 to 10, and it will lean into that earlier conversation I started. Are you a Pollyanna still? Are you a pragmatist? Or are you a Portuguese prepper? It'll be a conversation of that kind, because we've certainly changed our aspirations, and that's what I'd like to talk about with Mrs. M when she arrives, and to see if we weren't married, if she would propose to me today. I'm going to put her on the spot. She's going to tell me my fortune in that respect as well. I'll be learning a lot about our relationship when I ask her, if we weren't married, would you marry me? Or would you ask me to marry you today? The wise men of the Gumpocalypse, I hope, will stay for the conversation. They usually have a lot to add to it. James, Coach Turner, and T-Duck are in position with some excellent input. Thank you very much. And does it feel like almost like not a cosmic or spiritual bank holiday, public holiday, but it just seems to me it's a little out of left field. It's that kind of day. That's why I keep using that phrase. I think it's like it's not an ordinary day by definition of the fact that we only have one of these every 4 years. And it's like, what do we do with it? What do we do with it? You know, maybe nothing. Maybe we just go, oh, that's interesting, or that's not interesting, and just move on. But I think we could make some interest of it, and that's what I intend to do this morning in the company of Leela. Jonathan Matthews, good morning to you, Jonathan. João de Norte is in with a Bom dia, Portugal. I just imagine him bare-chested on his veranda screaming that across the Ponte Lima Valley of a morning. And Sir Lion H with us as well. Scott, good morning. Hola from San Martino de Porto. Fingers crossed with everything. Hey, Scott, good morning to you. Alison James, good morning to you, Alison. Have you all been called to the yard, so to speak, by this subject matter of the leap year, I wonder? Weekly paddle group, says John, up in the north today at noon. I highly recommend it if you haven't tried it yet. Who doesn't like a good paddling first in the afternoon? I bet she says now, how rude are you, Deborah Davies? You haven't been seen for ages and you bowl in here as if nothing has ever happened and then say something like that to me. We'll see. We'll see. I will be crestfallen and gutted if she says no. She could do the show on her own. Bon dia to you, Sarah Yeoman, as well. So let's go back to those wise men of the Gumbocalypse this morning. And if you don't normally say hi, please do so in the chat and in the comments. And you can begin, actually, if you want to start, I don't know, articulating what you think of the next 4 years. We could use that as a time span, couldn't we? I mean, an interesting conversation I had yesterday with a dear friend was that the changes he foresaw coming, he imagined would be after his passing, without wanting to be too morbid about it. But he's in his 70s, and he was thinking, well, the world's definitely in for some bumpy times. They're coming up, but not a problem to me. I'll be long gone by the time that all happens. And now he's thinking, I'm going to be here for it. I'm going to be here for these big tumultuous changes in the world. Now, I'm taking a bit of a liberty there, aren't I? I'm also pushing the assumption on you. And I don't want to do that. I really don't. I want to have a conversation. And if in any point of the conversation I've moved too far or too fast, you're very welcome to say, and I'm sure people know that, don't they? I'm quite challengeable, aren't I? I'm challenging and challengeable, you might say. So if in the chat you want to say, well, hold on a minute, you're making a big assumption there. What's this? These big apocalyptic, tumultuous changes you're talking about. Nobody believes that, Carl. That's just the stuff of conspiracy theory. You're very welcome to do so. But that's not to say I don't think it's a useful conversation, even if we just come to that conclusion that Carl has had too much coffee, not enough sleep, is talking a load of old nonsense again. That's quite affirming and helpful to me. So please do so. Good morning. Busy day buying tiles and sanitary goods for the new construction. Well, good luck with that, Colin. Nothing for your rugby colon then when you're talking about sanitary goods. Something for the new development, the new construction there. Busy day buying tiles and sanitary goods. Choose well, my friend. What colour scheme are you going for? And will you have any reference to your love of motor vehicles in the... wouldn't it be nice to have a bathroom set, a 3-piece toilet suite, so to speak, of? Are you going for the B-Day now that you don't have to by Portuguese law, as I understand it? But what about a Formula One car cockpit that you get into to do your ablutions? I bet you'd love that, Colin. Do let us know. And the older you get, says João de Norte, it's important to keep the twitch muscles in tune as they can decline without use. Is that a bit of apocalyptic advice or just something to do with paddle? I think it's a paddle ball tip there. It's a bonus day. Let's enjoy an energetic game of leapfrog. Yes! Now, that's the best idea so far. Thank you very much for that, Alison. Although I thought it's going to be a beautiful day today, then look to my side out of the studio window and it's raining again. I mean, it's a very changeable day, but that needn't stop us getting into our swimming cozies and getting down there for an energetic. That's the only thing I take issue with there. Game of leapfrog, yes. I nearly said a lame of geepfrog. I wonder what that is. But energetic, let's just build up slowly, as Coach Turner would say. And if it if it hurts, stop. Okay, let me just have a sip of water while you consider what significance we can make of this being a leap year today. Let me just mute for a moment. And I think then a nice sip of Portuguese water here. Oh, very good. Not too chlorinated, I think, on account of it being filtered. Okay, James was in then at 7:43. Mrs. M to join us this morning. And as I say, we're just kicking back and having a chat this morning on this, what feels like an extra day in the calendar. Bom dia, Gampas. Feliz quinta a todos. Como está? Tudo bem? From It's Not a Cowboy Hat, James, this week. Hooah! Mindful moment from you then. The difference between what we do and we are capable of doing would suffice to solve most of the world's problems. There's a nice contextual contribution there from Mohandas Gandhi. Thank you very much for that, James. And mindful dad joke. Why did the student? Oh, I can ask Mrs. M this. She's in the room. She's not on the camera just yet. She'll signal to me, I'm sure, when she's ready. Mrs. M, mindful, your mic is open now. No swearing, please. Why did the student
Cross the road?
No. Why did the student not want to join the mindfulness class? They said, my mind is full enough. That describes modern education.
Do you know what? That's what I really struggle with, the mindfulness movement.
Oh, okay. Have you had a mindful movement this morning? Already? No. Let me just give you a nice big round of applause and bring you onto the screen. Hola, bom dia. Tudo bem? How are you?
Tudo bem. Yeah, I've always struggled with the mindfulness movement because like they're all talking about finding peace and serenity, and that you kind of chill out and you empty your mind, or you are slightly more conscious of what you're focusing on.
Yes. And
yet it's called mindful.
Yeah, that's right.
Why would you say mindful when it's mindless?
Yes, I think that comes from the word to be mindful, as in to be thoughtful, considerate. So it's considering not being considerate, perhaps. I understand the irony.
By its very name, it implies that you can't actually do what it wants you to do. Like you want to be zen and chill, and yet it's also saying, fill your mind.
It could be a cosmic joke, though, couldn't it? Because
I think
whilst you're thinking and worrying about meditation, you're not meditating, are you? The great eternal irony.
I mean, that's why I don't really use the word mindful.
There you go then. Okay.
I think it's a bit of a...
Straight in with an erudite contribution. Thank you very much this morning. I mean, we've got to start somewhere, though, haven't we, to be fair to the mindfulness movement, which I suspect is a net gain to humanity.
Yeah,
I mean, were you at that very early workshop we did years ago at my last workplace, where everybody ate a raisin mindfully? Were you at that one?
Was that in... the old recording studio?
It was in the auditorium, and a lady came to talk about mindfulness to the staff, which I thought was very good.
Thankfully, I missed that one.
Thankfully, you're so cynical. Right, a training day. Was it just because it was a training day and you prefer to be the trainer rather than the trained, I suspect?
No, because I was pregnant or some, doing something.
I think you had enough going on to pull you back into your body and your senses, right? Without having to eat raisins as well.
Exactly.
Okay, fair enough. Mindful dad joke then. Oh, we just did that. Bondi.
Where did the mindfulness theme come from today?
Well, this has been brilliant. It filled the T-Duck vacuum, and James has stepped forward in T-Duck's absence with mindful moments and mindful dad jokes and memes, I should add as well, which I think you will like. We're coming back to that fella a bit later on. The first of his is I've just done a silent. Now I actually think it's a bit rude to use the word fart, especially at breakfast time. So I will use a brace of euphemisms here for that purpose.
Popping off.
Yeah, letting Polly out the cage, passing wind, that sort of thing.
I wonder how
Farts just sounds so vulgar, doesn't it?
I don't know.
That's not to say I don't love laughing about said activity.
Kids call it
guffing.
Guffing,
guffing.
yes.
Okay.
I've just done a silent guff. What should I do?
Put new batteries in your hearing aid. That's a classic.
That is so good.
Is a classic,
that is so good.
And talking of meditation, and I'm going to show this quite
you need to take
quickly.
You need to take that comment.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I don't want to take that comment because there is a profanity beneath it. That got everyone's attention, didn't it? When you've been meditating every day, and I suppose to be fair, cats are more meditative than dogs, aren't they?
Yeah.
Without a question. And all of a sudden, dumb doesn't bother you no more.
Yeah, that's cool.
That would be a good outcome for meditation. And certainly if cats are anything to go by, they're quite a good product of
I think cats are fantastic.
They don't care at all about what people think.
They're absolutely non-attached apart from to your leg first thing in the morning if you haven't fed them. But
dogs attached to your leg for a different
but if you don't feed them, eventually they will go and just find food somewhere else. Whereas dogs
Really? We've not tried that.
Dogs will just, give you the puppy dog eyes.
Yeah, give me a dog in
They're practicing instant gratitude.
They are practicing unconditional love. Different qualities for different domestic pets, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what a stick insect gives you. Please,
the creeps. Like my mum, when my dad came home with a stick insect when we were really young.
I'm guessing where this is going.
My mum was totally freaked out by it.
Yeah.
And we had these stick insects inside the house, obviously inside a tank with like some nice foliage and whatnot for a few days. And we loved it. And then one day we came home and they're all gone. And my mum had just chucked them in the garden and then
set them free, my beauties.
Yes. And so my sister and I spent hours trying to look for our stick insects, but never saw them again.
I think that was the first conspiracy theory that you faced as a child, which has prompted your interest in such matters ever since.
Don't know.
I think your dad gave you and your sister just a couple of sticks.
No, they were stick insects.
How do you know?
Because they walked over our hands.
Okay, that's fairly convincing, isn't it? I thought your dad had just drawn a face on a couple of sticks. And put them in
we could try that with our kids.
I don't think that's a good idea, isn't it? Okay, bon dia, all you lovely gumpers. Exciting times, Shay Turner, as we have a new grandson. Woo! Yes. All right. Arrived yesterday evening.
Ian, this grandson of yours was born at a very, very auspicious
really?
time. Yes.
Wow, could have been born today and had a birthday every 4 years.
Yeah.
Arrived yesterday.
No, very auspicious time. The astrology yesterday was super intense. This kid is
special kid.
Yeah, got very, very strong abilities.
Wow, look at that. Arrived yesterday and apparently announced himself quite loudly. Well done. I think the heralding of the auspicious child there. All are well. I think if you could pass on our best wishes to all involved, good work, especially Mum there, of course, and tell them that they were honoured with one of these over here.
What's that?
That's not the penis calzada meme. I can't find it now. I'm trying to do a Barcelo award. Is it not on? Oh, here we go. The Parabéns. Parabéns from our house to yours.
Nothing says welcome to the world better than that.
That's going to take some explaining, isn't it?
I'm sorry, Carl. I thought you were going to put something really great on.
I see what sort of mood you... Okay, should I ask her now, folks? Should I ask her now? Deborah Davis.
I was expecting like a beautiful meme or something, or a lovely poem.
That's a Portuguese parabéns. You can't get better than that.
Okay. Parabéns.
I feel a little bit criticised there.
Sorry.
It's not going
well.
That
wasn't my intention.
Never is. God's got tip of the day that we've touched on balance in nutrition, and we suggested
we're both muted.
How can we be both muted? No, you're not. You're not. You can be.
That's what T-Duck's saying. You're both muted.
Yeah. Whilst that little jingle was on, I don't think we're muted now, are we? You're both muted. 8:49.
Sarah's saying, "Turn up, Mrs. M's mic."
You are turned up. What's going on? I don't know. I can't see anything here that would stop you from being heard. I can hear you. Thank you, Deborah.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Everyone's a flipping producer now. Like T-Duck is top producer T-Duck. But look at turn up Mrs. M's mic. Anything else? Jeepers. Oh my goodness. Muted.
So maybe people didn't hear me being snarky then.
Well, yeah, thank you. You're not muted. The levels are good now. Hearing you fine. You see, I was hoping we'd talk about the future of the world and how human beings work together. We can't even, between the 10 of us here or whatever who are contributing to the chat, get this figured out. Just getting to the air here. You guys sound great on Facebook. Thank you very much, Stephen.
We had a
adjust the lights. Thank you very much.
Oh, it's a nice kind of carefree day today, isn't it?
It is. I hope so. Well, not if you don't give me the right
rearrange
answer.
The background.
Yeah, and criticize my
plants
aren't too much.
I haven't got the right plants in the right place. I do need to sort that out.
They do look a bit weedy compared to mine, don't they? Like literally weedy. Okay, let's go back to. I you know how I like to progress.
Sarah's saying send the bill in the mail.
For what?
For her production advice.
Is that right? Okay. All right. No, it's an internship. I'm afraid. It's a 3-year internship. And then if we like the cut of your jib after that, we might give you a job or find a new intern. Right. So we touched. That's how it works in the corporate world.
Okay, all right.
People have got to learn this, haven't they? We can't be treating them with kid gloves only to go into the real world to be treated like we're going to.
Okay.
We've touched on balance in nutrition, and we passed on the message from Kellogg's yesterday to have cereal for dinner, drinking and rest. So today, my grammar was wrong there. We touched on balance in nutrition, drinking and rest. So today and tomorrow we'll look at actual balance and how to improve it. I'm sure we all know of someone that had a fall later in life, and that was, do you mean physically, or I guess there's all kinds of ways to have a fall later in life, aren't there?
Yeah, like getting totally
okay, let's move on.
Drunk.
And that had a fall later in life, and that was the start of their decline. Bones take much longer to heal. It is the worst of them, isn't it? The most obvious as well. Bones take much longer to heal as we age. So better, surely, I'm going to say it, to avoid the issue by not falling. Don't call me Shirley, Coach Turner. And the simplest exercise is to stand in front of a kitchen worktop or behind the back of a chair. You have to do this naked, I suspect, for balance, then standing on one foot.
Did you add that in?
Yeah.
You have to do it naked.
Yes. Then standing on one foot, bend your leg so your hips are definitely naked.
I'm trying to imagine you doing that with.
Well, I think I have a handy. I think if you're going to be lowering about 6 inches, you might have a natural ruler to work with. Oh, you're so bad.
God. No, because this is like fuel for that nasty troll that doesn't like it when you and I work together
and have fun.
Yeah, have fun and are all lighthearted.
Well, take that as a compliment. The simplest exercise is to stand in front of a kitchen worktop or behind the back of a chair for balance. Then if you are doing it naked,
should I try it?
If you're not naked, if you do it naked, that gives you a chair to hide behind. Then standing on one foot, bend your leg, depending on the kind of chair. Then standing on one foot, bend your leg so your hips lower about 6 inches 10 times. Give me 10 of those on each leg 3 times a day. And within a week, you'll be able to lower yourself a lot further. And it'll be a nice conversation starter if you do it publicly, not naked.
Actually, I mean, the whole idea of the handle, getting a handle on it, has actually got a little bit of chat going.
Okay. Gradually, you'll also lose the need for balance and support. Do you know you've got a mouse there? You can put... I've conditioned you away from contributing. That's amazing. That's Pavlov's dog there.
I am so I've got a mouse. I can put it on.
Okay. Good morning, Coach. I always get a good stretch when I reach for my corkscrew. This is why you can't have the mouse. Okay, go on.
I've lost it now.
Now
the Portuguese are saying, "How long is 6 inches?" My wife and I have this debate.
Thank you, Portuguesa. Thank you for being here this morning. And I wonder, Portuguesa, he's here when it's his slot, so to speak. Not often with us in the morning. So have you been drawn by this idea of the leap year, leaping into the future, leaping towards Portugal?
I like the idea of a quantum leap.
Well, do you know what? I think we should have a look at what that means. Thank you, T-Duck, for your leap-related jokes as well. So let's do a little bit of that now. Thank you very much, Coach Turner, for your God Squad tip of the day. Where are Miss Starred comments? I can't see where they've gone now. They disappeared. Have you been messing about?
No, I haven't done nothing.
Okay.
I ain't done nothing.
I ain't done nothing, Governor. Right. There used to be a facility here to look at comments that have been starred or not, as the case may be. Maybe I haven't starred any comments. That'll be it. But I wanted to talk to you about quantum because it's one of the squares on my spiritual BS bingo card.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Some people just chuck in the word quantum, don't they?
Yeah.
And they don't necessarily...
Quantum entanglement.
Yeah, and fair enough. It's a bit like mindfulness. You know, you got to start somewhere, but then these words become overused and perhaps a little bit misappropriated, or they're just a shorthand for... I don't really know what I'm talking about.
Quantum mechanics.
But I'll chuck quantum in because that could be quite impressive.
Ooh.
So a quantum leap, then, is an abrupt change, a sudden increase or dramatic advance. Note, quantum leap is rarely used in scientific context. So if you use it in conversation to appear erudite and scientific, it's probably not a very good idea. You might be doing quite the opposite. But it originated as a synonym of quantum jump, which describes an abrupt transition as of an electron, an atom, or a molecule from one discrete energy state to another. Now, my question is, on this auspicious, we can make it so, day in 2024, when we have a leap day, will the next 4 years for that matter, be a quantum leap for humanity? Do you want to answer that quickly? Or
I think we're going through it.
You think we're going through it, or it's already started?
I mean, when we consider things happening, I think it depends on our ideas on time and space, because, you know, for something quantum to catch our attention, it would have to change right before our very eyes.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about humanity and the life of whatever this existence is, that moment in time that happens like that might, from the perspective of the whole world, that might be a transition that happens over 4 years, 40 years. So we might not see it as a quantum leap, but I think we are going through a change. And I know that the likes of Elon Musk are doing sort of experiments, with cyborgs, like turning humans into,
what's that called? Transhumanism.
Yeah. So transhumanism is definitely something that appears to be getting a lot more traction, a lot more interest, and God knows what people God knows what people are doing behind the scenes.
Yeah.
They
would have already done it.
Yeah. And I know that there are devious people who
misanthropic agendas.
Yes. Yeah. I know there are
the misanthropaths.
I just can't remember which one, and it's not probably one now, it's probably all of them.
Yeah.
But for instance, when you take a medication, or when you have something put in your body that has been patented, there is an argument that I've heard used.
Like food, isn't it?
There's an argument that I've heard that you belong to the company that created the thing that you now have.
It's the least you can do.
A bit like Carl Munson, like if one of their stray mental non-GMO seeds, GMO seeds goes into your field.
Yeah,
they have
they can come and get it.
They can come and get it, but they can charge you. They can sue you for growing their copyright. Their protected things. Fair. So people can unwittingly. I think we're coming into a time where countries are going to change quite fundamentally, but also what it is, the nature of being human.
Oh, okay.
So, we've got transhumanism, then you've got like the race of corporations to own bits of your DNA or things that have gone in you, and they say, well, now you're mine.
That's a right old downer as far as I'm concerned. That's not the sort of quantum leap I'm looking for.
And I think, everything is kind of polarity. There's all this polarity all the time. So yes, there's the sort of technical quantum leap, and the quantum leap that comes through utter greed and this desire to control everyone and everything. But there's also the quantum leap that could happen through people just letting go of the hold of this reality,
and changing the batteries in the hearing aids.
Yeah. But I mean, like if people were to, Doug's coming in, transhumanism, I bet it's all tosh. Imagine another identity crisis for the teens.
Don't worry. You know what? Me and Doug are going to have a podcast soon.
I think that would be really great.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I think there are lots of identity crises for teens right now.
I think I
think it's been sewn into the fabric of society. People are talking about it.
Yeah.
People are, I don't think I need to explain it, do I? Because I think people are more than aware of.
Well, I don't know. We'll find out this morning.
There are different narratives.
Because there are some interesting things coming up, like the Mandela effect. So we are. In case you've just joined us,
and are wondering why.
Yeah, I think we
Good
should
Morning
say.
Portugal.
Yeah, you say, what the hell has this got to do with Portugal? A bit of backstory and why I'm taking this liberty, really, this leapy liberty, is because we took a leap moving to Portugal, didn't we?
Yeah.
And that's what we encourage generally people to do with the show. We instantly, make the leap, come to Portugal. It's fantastic. And to be fair,
actually, no, you don't really say that. I think you say make the leap if it's right for you.
Yeah, okay.
You don't do it indiscriminately.
Well, I do say things like there are 300 days of sunshine a year, don't I, Portuguese? He's got a right wiggly hair about that. Check out his new video about that. He wants to sue me, I think.
What for?
For misrepresenting. I mean, I know it feels like it at the moment, Portuguese, but according to some scientists, there are actually 422 days of sunshine a year. I think it was the Office of National Statistics that came up with that there are 422 days of sunshine a year here in Portugal. So make of that what you will. But yes, leap to Portugal, leap of faith. This is all about the leap
of faith. Love that.
Yeah, and quantum leap. Will this be the quantum leap for humanity in this little while? And some of the things that are coming up when you ask a question like that, you might be able to explain this a little bit later on. Don't jump into it just yet, Mrs. M. I read something the other day saying that we're going through a Mandela effect, and not the first one, when Nelson Mandela was freed from captivity. Different kind of Mandela effect there. Look, 100th monkey effect. Finally, look at this. You see, now I was concerned about having a conversation of this kind this morning, but it looks like it's opened the floodgates, maybe.
Well, I think it's a bit like Marmite, isn't it? People either love it or hate it, and the people that want to join in can't they?
I just realised what that means. Kickstand Carl.
Oh, I wondered what that meant as well.
It's made me very red indeed. Okay, let's. Stephen, what do you like? I mean, this is maybe what goes on a leap day. People just feel a little bit different, popping off. We've given a license to people to talk about their euphemisms for passing wind as well. That's very polite and lovely, Sarah. Thank you for being here. I was
listening to a podcast recently that was talking about foreskins.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
it's and the actual first time.
It's okay.
So I hope you're going to talk in a scientific and grown-up manner about this.
No, I'm not, because what happened was it was run by two fantastic women that've got like this beautiful rapport with each other. Yeah. And
well, I think that's like men talking about International Women's Day, quite frankly. Go on.
No. They were talking about foreskins and the actual proper purpose for foreskins. And then they mentioned the vagina and they said, no, let's call it what it is. Actually, let's use its biological name. And then they both burst out laughing and came up with about 10 euphemisms for a vagina. And they missed some out, and so in the comments I was like adding another 5 or 6.
I'm actually moving on now that you've piqued people's interest about the true cosmic use of the foreskin. Anyway, as you get older, it is important to keep the quick twitch muscles. I think we've set too many hairs coursing this morning.
Quick twitch muscles.
Yeah, exactly.
What are they?
Look, and these comments are just so brilliant now, given all that we've talked about. Good morning, busy day buying towels and sanitary goods for the new construction. It sounds like an abattoir or something now.
Well, that sounds like a euphemism for, I don't know, whatever he's strengthening.
All right, rain, only sun and blue sky and Lisbon. Good for you there, T-Duck.
Excellent.
Rain, frogs love the water, there, says James. And could you share some thoughts on quick twitch muscle maintenance? As we age, we tend to move more slowly, not jumping and darting to and fro. This is what I'm interested in.
What is this quick twitch thing?
Reflexes, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, and it connects with balance. I think that's for you, Coach Turner. You don't have to pick that up today, but I think that if you could, I don't know, weave that into your narrative for. You've seen a comment that's making you laugh, haven't you, Mrs.
I've seen a few.
Okay, I will get to them, but it's terrible when you cause this kind of chaos because I just feel totally out of control of my own machine here. So yeah, for Joao Denort, Coach Turner, if you could weave in some quick twitch muscle maintenance, but find an easier way of saying that'll be great as well. Look at this, Michael Barton. Great to see you and Karen yesterday at the Storytellers. Bon dia, everyone had a great time. It was a lovely gathering, wasn't it?
It was beautiful.
Yeah, really lovely, beautiful weather. And the question, I love the question. Then, will this be a quantum leap year for humanity? I'm the creator of my life, of my live, but not only focusing on what I want to have in my life, but by taking action to do this every day. Yes. Not just sitting there hoping for it, but getting out there and doing it by the sound of it. Create a new routine step by step, just being attentive and nice with my fellow human beings and be kind with myself too.
Yes.
That's great.
Who is that?
I think that might be
masked.
That hero.
Yeah, that's lovely.
The leap year Avenger superhero there. Some might propose changing the name to Mindless. Yeah, would that be me? That?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, all right. And I love filling T-Duck's vacuum. Hey, to me, mindful means steady. T-Duck not so happy about that. Perhaps to me, mindful means you never know. To me, mindful means being deliberately aware of your present circumstances rather than having your mind anywhere else, higgledy-piggledy bouncing around
like this conversation.
It's the twitch muscles of the mind where we're brought back into the moment. And a nice big James there. Very good. Congratulations, Coach Yale, on that lovely news. And are you applying for the housekeeper position? Oh, for filling his vacuum. Live in.
Yikes! This is going into crazy places.
It is. And we've barely scratched the surface, I'm sure, this morning.
Let's hope not. I don't fancy scratching.
It's not tumbleweed, thankfully, given the subject. And I feel a little bit not vindicated exactly, but I feel approved of and quite contented and pleased.
Why?
That people well, I said earlier on, it's like, has Carl been staying up too late, drinking too much coffee, smoking wacky backy or whatever?
Why is that?
Because people might think that when we're asking such questions, but I think people are happy to ask.
I think anyone with like
half
eyes
brain.
to see
Yeah.
and a good sense of listening will notice that you throw in a few cosmic
but
questions every single day.
I don't devote a whole show to it.
You just throw a little question
like
in
the blue
every
touch
single
paper.
Yeah.
I'm always on at my sons to be mindful, and I've never meant mind empty. That means yes, think about it for goodness sake. Yes, look at what you're doing. I mean, yeah, here we go. Look at the bin. The bin is full. Empty the freaking bin. He sounds quite an old school dad, doesn't he?
Do you know what? Yesterday, when we were at the storytellers, Carl was telling a story about it? Yeah, about how men and women talk differently. And that's like, look at the toilet roll is finished. Put a new freaking toilet.
That's direct, isn't it?
Yes, but you were saying yesterday.
Oh, well, how would a woman ask that?
Yeah.
I think the toilet roll might need replacing as a sort of suggestion.
Yeah.
Or do we need to buy new toilet paper, TP, rather than just change the freaking toilet roll in the toilet there? As the Portuguese clearly communicates to the rest of his household. Does that work, Portuguese? Are you getting good results with that? I wonder. Sounds like
I would be like throwing the toilet roll at him.
Would you?
Yeah, totally.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. Yes. Thank you for all those production tips earlier on. You are muted. You're not muted. I know everyone's trying to help, but when it's two messages that are completely opposite to each other, that's very confusing and difficult. Rearrange the background, change the lighting, and we will be billed for that. Use different earphones. Make them smash the like button. Yeah, do that one. Smash the mic button. Right. Okay. Where were we then? Fast twitch muscles from the coach. You've already got an answer. Isn't this brilliant? It's one of the reasons I do sprint training. Back to fartlek, or should we say gufflek, or past windlek. Add a little bit of
popping off
lek. Add a little bit of speed work every week along with strength. There you go.
Yes.
So burst, just suddenly run off from Pam when you're in the street. Maybe you should warn her first, but just break into a quick run.
She goes for a good walk each day. She goes for a good romp, doesn't she?
Try and keep up with Pam then. Yeah, all right. Sounds like a party. What's this? Changing the batteries in your hearing aid. When you get to a certain age, that is a party, Stephen. Sounds like a party there. Thank you very much. And the handy gadget, yes. Okay, see where this is now. Kickstand call, very good. By Randy also with us. Busy day tidying up before an agent visits to value our quinta. Downsizing. Ooh. Very interesting. Keep us abreast of that and what it's like to have a valuation of a quinta, because I don't think we talked about that. I'd be very interested to hear of your treatment and service there, from how that works here in Portugal and whether you're satisfied. I saw a video. Oh, chat. Mrs. M's got that smile on her face, which says that a funny comment is coming in. I saw a video of a senior who built balance course in his backyard. I love the idea. A balance course. Right. It would have to be a chair with a back to it, else the girls might get stuck between the slats on the way up. Oh yeah.
All of this from
which reminds me, don't forget to send pictures on 913-590-303.
Oh, it's great, isn't it, that that Coach Turner's suggestion has created such a rich seam of comments.
He doesn't like a rich seam first thing in the morning. Absolutely. Quantum, a discrete quantity of energy of energy proportional in magnitude to the frequency of the radiation it represents. I knew that.
Yeah, of course.
Unless you're specifically talking about quantum physics, which most people refer to it, but they're not actually talking about it, are they?
No.
It's a shorthand these days, isn't it? 100th monkey effect. Finally.
Well, haven't you already done that like 100 times?
Done what?
You said that comment out twice.
I've only got 98 more times to say it, and then the world will change. Will maybe tilt on its axis after the 9th. Well, we'll have lost everyone.
Yeah,
if we haven't already. Bon dia from Aviva, Ocean Dweller, and let me just do justice to the lovely picture you sent to us of you in Porto. There you go. Gives me a chance to say Porto. Isn't that a lovely picture of Aviva? They're walking down to the river, the Douro, and the bridge, the city really in the distance there. That is a lovely picture. Nice one. I hope you're having a great time. Oh, and we opened the show with this. See, this I take as a sign for changing times. Even in Intermarché, there are signs up saying inner self on the Telepizza tray collection system. I think it said into self. It's like a self-service restaurant. But
I was trying to work out what it used to say.
It's been changed. It's been changed by the universe to inner self there. It's another sign. In cosmological time, everything that's ever happened with humans on Earth has been a quantum leap.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if we treated each breath as a quantum leap, which it is on some level, presumably, we would live very differently.
Taking us from
Mrs. M,
one moment to the next.
What's the Mandela effect?
What? I'm not prepared for that.
Yeah, I'm going off to have a poo.
Okay,
Bye.
well, about 7 years ago, and it's probably been happening for years and years and years and years, but there was a whole load of memes and conversation going on about the titles of famous films that suddenly changed overnight.
Yeah.
So like films that we all knew were called one thing, all of a sudden, when you did a search for it on the internet, it was now called something else, and nobody could quite realize what had happened. And then, hi, Siobhan.
So life is not as we remember it. So did they change the film, or did we change?
Like, who knows? And like at the end of one of the Queen songs.
I want to ride my bicycle.
No. Oh, God, which one?
We will.
No, not that one.
She drinks Moe and Chandon.
No, not that one.
In a pretty cabinet. I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah, you are. It's not Killer Queen.
Mamma mia, mamma mia.
Mamma mia. No, it's not that one either.
Right. I can wait.
It's the one that at the end of the song, it says, of the world, we're the champions.
We are the champions, my friend.
So like most people remember that we are the champions right at the end of the song.
Mm-hmm.
It has of the world right at the end. Well, then all of a sudden everyone was saying it's gone, and people were like looking online, all the versions of it they could find didn't have it anymore.
Oh, that's just changing the song on Spotify with the remastering, isn't it?
No, but on YouTube,
really,
yeah, and in fact, people went and looked at who's that British comedian?
Paul Gambaccini.
No, who's that British comedian that drives in a car and has a sing song with?
James Corden.
Yeah, so James Corden did a sing song with some different actors, and at the end of Queen, they sang of the world. So it was there, but then all of a sudden everywhere else you couldn't see it.
So the record, if you think of life and memories as being that which is written to the hard drive of humanity, the hard drive record got corrupted or changed, and that is the Mandela effect. Wow.
That's my understanding of it. But I mean,
but don't you have that with your life? Do you have it on a personal level, the way you thought things were? I mean, when you're a kid,
when you talk to your brother or sister, I mean, I've got a sister, and like when we talk about our childhood, in fact, our kids,
have different records.
They have completely different records. But what I'm talking about is like an agreed reality that most people have signed up for or remember, and they're really, really specific about it. For instance, like, I don't know, the name of a film is the biggest one. Like there were a whole heap of films that apparently all of a sudden they just changed, and stories and stuff, and the spelling in actors' names and things
changing in the public record. Well, that's fascinating.
Changing, but nobody being aware that it changed,
and nobody being
and the reason why it's called the Mandela effect is because lots of people had known that Mandela had died at a particular time, and then all of a sudden they'd found out he hadn't died. And so then I think the reason why it was called the Mandela effect is because so many people had it in their memory that he had died at a particular time, and then all of a sudden in the news it's like, no, here he is.
Stephen, is that what you meant by that?
Probably not. You might have a much more
simpler,
short and easy to understand description of it.
Okay, if things aren't happening on the quantum level or on a oggly boggly spiritual level, then this must be changing the world in this leap year, right? 60 federal elections happening in 2024. Or will they just mean more of the same and a further degeneration of trust in politics, which will then precipitate a change for humanity? I think the latter is going to happen, actually. I think people are going to become more and more depressed, distressed, disheartened by the political processes of countries, and divided and polarized, which you might say is the desired effect of such things, and so many happening around the world, that they are either willingly or are forced to turn their backs on the great big corporate political system and start doing things on a local level. I'm hoping so. That's my, for what it's worth, that's and for the sake of what's the word, transparency, that's what I'm hoping for.
I wonder if we will start to just create a new reality for ourselves without the need for politics. I know that seems absolutely horribly naive and absolutely impossible to imagine.
I'm with you.
But the only reason why politics seems so important is because we have it as a shared collective
and keep
story,
giving it importance.
and we keep giving it importance. And the more people are Trump is bad, and the more people are no, Biden's a kiddie sniffer, the more that happens. For example, sorry, but I'm not trying to cause a diplomatic.
Yeah, but honestly, eating ice cream while talking about a ceasefire. Anyway, so no.
But also, lots of people like Barack is saying Trump is bad.
Yeah.
So the more we hold on to these realities, the more we're keeping them in place.
Yes. Yeah.
A real quantum leap would be if all of a sudden everyone just kind of thought.
Well, that's a very sweet side of humanity, though, isn't it?
It's and I see things from a very sort of naive and sweet position. I'm not.
Yeah.
On the one hand, I am cynical and distrusting of all these different things going on.
That, yeah.
And on the other hand, I have a very sort of sweet belief that we will come into our own bodies, we'll come into our own senses, and just realize that when we ignore the outer world, there is this very rich inner life. And I wonder if we were all in that really rich inner space where we're connecting to, each other with kickstand handles and stuff, and noticing the plants and the birds and the bees and all that jazz. I wonder what would happen.
You see,
we're so caught up in this big story,
in the drama,
and the news, the newsreels, the celebrity circuit
out there, over there,
everything that's outside of our actual reality is imposing their version of what we should believe in.
Yeah.
And it's an imposition on our mentality. It's an imposition on our soul. It's an imposition,
and we have a choice
on our very daily
how
lives.
Seriously we take it, of course, don't we? And how much effect it has on us.
Yeah,
which I think is very interesting, and brings us back to mindfulness, of course, because to stop.
Well, our mind is full of ideas, facts,
other people's ideas,
opinions. Our minds are full of a narrative. We've all been spun narratives.
Yes.
I wonder what it would be. Yeah, and we spin our own. And I wonder. I mean, Doug is saying here, Trump is bad. Biden is awful. Some choice, eh?
Yeah.
And Sarah's saying, yes, Louisa, come back to ourselves.
Oh,
thank you, Sarah.
That's very nice.
Another optimist.
Yes.
And some people have called them apocalyptoptimists.
Apocalyptimist. Now,
I'm
do you know what? Funnily enough, I looked up what apocalypse meant because I thought it might come up. And by the way, are you a Pollyanna? Are you a Portuguese Pollyanna?
I'm totally Pollyanna about most things.
And this is for everyone. Are you a Pollyanna? Let me just put that slide onto the screen on this informal presentation here. Are you a Pollyanna? Are you a prepper or are you a pragmatist? So I think, the Pollyanna, I've been in that state, and it's fine. Everything's lovely here. Just eat pastel de natas and drink cheap booze and you'll have a fine time. Yeah. We moved here to be preppers, didn't we? And that kind of has slipped away.
Yeah, totally.
In all honesty, we thought we'd be living in a field somewhere away from the craziness. And pragmatist, I think, is there's nothing you can do about it. You just got to do what you got to do and, get your head down. Life's going to carry on. There's just going to be occasional ups
actually,
and downs.
There is some truth to that, right. Because, for all those people that didn't allow what was going on at the time of COVID, whatever you believe that to be, whatever you believe actually happened, for the people that just put their head down and thought, okay, well, this is just a reality. Let's just move on and not stop what, not massively change our lives or get our knickers in a twist.
Panties in a bunch.
And I'm not saying not get your knickers in a twist to kind of devalue it in any way, because obviously I know lots of people went through great trauma.
Yeah.
I went through trauma just through thinking about it.
Yes.
But for people that just thought, oh, well, okay, well, I'll cross that bridge when it happens. And when it reaches me, I'll do whatever I need to do. But I am actually just going to enjoy my life. For those people that just chose to enjoy their life and be mindful and just kind of getting on with it, but not getting into the story, I'm pretty sure they continue to have a very great life.
Guess what? Those people who chose to enjoy their lives might have enjoyed their lives.
Yes.
Result. Okay,
yes,
very good.
Because we all get massively affected by the stories that we create, but also the stories that we're told.
Yes.
Shelley and Siobhan have got some interesting comments.
We will get to them. Let's do these very quickly then. Transhumanism.
Did you still want to play with your meme?
What?
Which triangular meme?
We'll come back to that.
Yeah,
we'll come back to that. Transhumanism. So this idea of identifying as a robot, I'm sure that's what they were doing to me at school a long time ago, 40 years ago. I thought I was being turned into a robot. and I resisted it. And then it all went downhill after that. Working in worldly terms, by the way, working as usual, but fine, says Antonio F. Tuned in whilst working. Good man. Thanks, Antonio, for all you do for our community. People are screaming about it. What's that? Changing the toilet roll?
Oh,
How dare you?
They could be screaming about anything. They could at the moment.
Let's stop talking about identity. Well, that's a very good point. Yeah. Every time you embrace and bitterly hold on to an identity, you are causing trouble for yourself. That is a sort of thing.
You are creating your reality.
Tough love. Yeah, that is tough love. But when you separate yourself with an identity, you are causing potential conflict, aren't you? It's another one of life's great, ironies or paradoxes, really. Very good, Doug. Some scientists told us to stop home for, oh, yes, that's right, lockdown. A trip to the bakery, then a day on the laptop. Antonio F. Once the rain stops over there in the UK. It's easy to work out how many sunny days in Wales. Is that 2? Oh, 1, just the 1 there. What about the elephant in the room effect? I wonder what that means.
Well, isn't that the thing that nobody wants to talk about, but is so obviously there?
Well, that's what I think is going on at the moment.
Yeah.
But it's interesting is that always the case? Has it always been like that? And are we reaching peak elephant in the room?
Oh, I think so.
Which is sort of completely squashed by it, just barely able to breathe by a massive elephant.
That elephant arse is in my face.
Yeah, so I think there's something maybe going on in here.
There is something going on in my reality, but I will not face it. I'm not going to look.
Well, maybe. And that's true of all of us. You're not criticizing people.
No,
that's a collective.
Oh, God, we've all got a blind spot, haven't we?
Guys, even if it's raining in Portugal, as long as you're there, life is full of sunshine, isn't that
Thank
lovely?
you.
Certain cars are driven by what?
Knobs.
Foreskin duck technique. We should put in context. It was a famous advertising campaign.
Yeah.
Vorsprung, I think. The Germans who came up with that in the marketing department had no idea that Welsh people would be laughing about that in the valleys.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, have you seen what they've done at Volkswagen, boyo? Foreskin duck technique. Went German at the end there, didn't
it did a
bit. I am Welsh, and I swear that we've had at least 35 days without rain in 40 years. Very good. I'm offended by women talking about my foreskin and making light of my lived experience as a foreskin user. So you've triggered him there.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
I think like one of my greatest hopes for humanity is that in this year we do make a quantum leap and come out
Where's
of this.
This going?
You'll find out if you let me finish.
Oh!
And that and that is the quantum leap of choosing not to be offended, just choosing to say, oh, that person's got a different perspective. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to share a story, and I wonder what you think about it. So 5.5 years ago, or 6 years ago, when I was pregnant with our last son, I recorded a hypnotherapy session for myself to help me do hypnobirthing. Now, I'd had it was a rewrite of an earlier one that I'd used for my now 12-year-old and my now 8-year-old. And so I've used hypnotic messages to help me birth my babies. And I thought, you know what, it would be really useful for other women. Let's share it. And so I shared it on Insight Time. I shared it on Spotify. I shared it on YouTube. As without taking any like saying, it's your decision to listen to this, and I'm not advocating for anything, but I said, if this is useful for you when you're birthing your babies, like give it a go. And subsequently I've had messages from people to say, thank you, it really helped me, I birthed, and so on and so forth. Anyway, I got a message from an anonymous person or somebody I didn't know saying, I listened to your hypnosis and it was really good and very helpful, but I got very triggered at a bit when you mentioned that you can connect into the DNA of your child, and that you can and then she said, bless her, I mean, obviously it was important for her to write to me. She said, not all babies are born in the way that you have advocated, like a mum birthing a baby. And she said, I thought I'd let you know in case you choose to make it more inclusive for people. So I thought, oh, okay, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. Is she asking me to re-record something that I gave away for free, like actually write a full script. I sort of didn't even use a script, so does she want me to go out of my way to create something that might take half a day to make it inclusive for maybe the 1% of mums who are not having children in the same way as every other mum does? And I don't know what to do with it exactly.
You triggered yourself.
Well, I mean, it was a really interesting question. This person said she felt triggered. Now, she didn't indicate that she was actually a mum that was pregnant, and she didn't indicate that she was one of these mums that maybe had a different DNA to the child that she was birthing.
Yeah.
So, from her email, she indicated to me that she was somebody who was feeling offended on behalf of somebody who might or might not feel offended if they happened to choose that particular hypnotherapy to listen to. And these are the times we're in. And I haven't responded because I absolutely don't know where to start. And actually, I don't think it's my job to make your world right for you. I'm very happy to have a discussion with people, and I'm very happy to talk respectfully with people. But am I expected to look through every single newsfeed, everything I've shared, like historically,
yes,
and make apologies for being myself? I don't think I'm putting out anything that is deliberately hateful, but some people will say, you've offended me with your hateful speech, because when you say something that doesn't include somebody, but it wouldn't because it's not your actual lived reality, people are saying you're hateful. Well, I would love to see a massive quantum leap out of this reality, this current reality, because it makes no sense. Surely the best thing we can do,
the logic
is just
of it
have
would be people apologizing and disclaiming all the time, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and can you imagine how unhelpful that actual hypnotherapy would be?
It'd be 3 hours long, wouldn't it?
It would, because you would be saying, and you might choose to connect in with your baby. For those of you that have done it naturally, you might do it through DNA, or you might use the power of your imagination. When you're not talking to an experience that people can understand, hypnotherapy just doesn't work. So it really left something with me, and I really wonder what everyone in this chat room feels about this. I think my motto is, let's not just be an arsehole, and let's just
that's a nice acronym, probably, isn't it?
Let's not.
It's almost LGBT, isn't it? It's LJBTA. Like
oh
that.
My God!
Now you're in trouble.
Now I'm really in trouble.
Okay, all right.
But let's just be people, and and just kind of respect and love each other. But does respecting other people mean you have to change? You have to allow other people's realities to change your own, or can we all just?
Or can you hear it without being triggered by it? I mean, that's another test, isn't it?
Well,
it was difficult for you not to be, wasn't it?
It was difficult for me because someone was saying that something that I'd done from the kindness and my own good faith, and it was something that I'd personally written for myself. That somebody was implying that I was
hurting other people,
by
a potential hurt, not an actual hurt.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Well, it's difficult.
All right, for any dads who've been triggered by other people in the house not turning the lights off,
or any dads that have been triggered because it
wasn't them that were having the baby.
Yeah, or I know there are women who are now known as trans men, and there I've seen some articles about trans men who have babies. So there are some people now who say men have babies too. Men are birthing people
and feeding them with hairy milk. That's always been that was always a joke in our house, wasn't it? I'd say to the kids, like, do you want some hairy milk?
Yeah,
like making a complete joke about me breastfeeding the kids. And now that's a thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I wonder if those men shave before.
Well, obviously, what happens inside your own families, and these like little stories and little things that develop, they happen innocently, and not to create some kind of level of hatred in the outside world.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. So just a little warning there for this is the dads of the world, isn't it, who say things like, it's like Blackpool illuminations in this house, and you don't pay the bill, that's why you're not to turn the freaking lights.
Were you born in a stable?
That's right, all those sorts of things. Hello, Pinky, bon dia, everyone. Happy Thursday. Nearly forgot what day it was. It's a special leap day. We're talking about leaping of faith, leaping to Portugal. Is this going to be a quantum leap year for humanity? And lots of fantastic comments. So many. Chow loves from Siobhan, as you saw earlier on. Short gloves. I don't know what that means. And there will be lots of random comments you can bet this morning.
I think it's because he asked, what do you do with short hands?
No, you know what they say about people with short hands? They have short gloves.
I've never described anyone as having short hands.
Little hands, then.
Little hands, yeah.
Right, yeah. Okay. Muito bem, Carlito. For Doro, I think. Nothing like a bit of into self first thing in the morning. Hola from Trabanza. Good morning to you, Barak. I think we've got comments coming in from Barak as well a little bit later on. We've got loads to get through. Fat Bottom Girls, it wasn't that one. We have moved on, haven't we?
We have moved on a lot.
I didn't sing that one this morning. Daughter on train to Porto as we speak.
Oh, how exciting.
Portuguese, and my dad used to tell my brother, oi, boyo, don't ever marry a girl with big hands because it will make you look small. Awkward. Queen. I'm not actually a Queen lover. I just know the tunes for some reason, don't I? Bon dia, Owen from Antonio F. and Monopoly Man Monocle.
I think what Jack's talking about there is maybe one of those Mandela effects. Did the Monopoly Man change his look?
Oh, yes. Okay. Barack, I prefer a bit of Prince first thing in the morning to Queen. It's a scandal. Conspiracy. We are the champions. Is that what was at the end of the record?
No, like I think it was. Like,
I see. He's saying it is a conspiracy that happened at all. Okay, all right. No, that's pretty much what I meant by that. You hit the nail on the head.
That was about my description of the Mandela effect.
Very good, excellent. Thank goodness you're here this morning. I have a big question for you on this leap year day, which refers to a big question you might have for me. Douglas, there are few better performers and musicians than Prince. Did you see him at the R&R Hall of Fame? That was incredible, performing with others as a tribute to George Harrison. I think I saw that one. Barack, thank you very much for that. Trump is bad. You see, it's official. Good morning from poached eggs on toast in the Algarve before I take the tractor to the 4-foot high grass in the orchards. Now, I'm hoping,
good luck with that.
I'm hoping that is a euphemism.
Oh, yes.
I'm going to attack the 4-foot high grass. Wish me luck.
Yes, well,
very 70s. Very
70s. We have been talking about sort of euphemistic body parts, haven't we?
Poaching me egg. I just saw the effect of someone jumping in a thick mud pond, so thick it barely made a ripple. 60 federal elections. This is getting very esoteric now, isn't it? Antonio F. I may be in need of assistance with cake bulk buys, so everyone welcome to us. This is getting really weird now, I think.
Do you know what, Antonio? Oh, it's Jackie that's doing the. Sorry, I thought that was Antonio doing the bulk buying. Jackie, do you live anywhere near Atelier de Dulce?
No, she lives in England.
Oh, okay. Because we've got the sweet factory Atelier de Dulce.
Oh, we'll take you there.
We'll take you there when you come out.
You will love it.
You'll be very happy to bulk buy.
I'll say it openly, the best cake shop in Portugal. And we live near it.
Yeah.
I would love, and that is quite the claim, isn't it,
in
Portugal? I would love, Shelley, good morning to you. How lovely to see you here. I would love to get rid of the world elite when it pertains to the controllers of the world too. Who makes them elite?
Yes.
Or do we, by keep talking about them like that, why do we give them that acknowledgement? Yes, but they put their pants in the same way. They put on their pants in the same way as we do. And you haven't seen me putting on my pants, I hope, Shelley. That might not be true. And we are equally valuable on this planet. Well said in all seriousness.
Yes,
there.
absolutely.
Contrast creates inner growth and transformation, expansion. Quantum leaps there for humanity and consciousness. Humans won't grow without pain because unfortunately they can't seem to own their process of self-love and healing. Humans project their pain instead of taking responsibility for how they feel. Well, I can't argue with that. I can't.
Thank you, Sean.
It often takes the pain, doesn't it, of a dad shouting to make a child do something, rather than the motherly love that says, you have all the potential within you to do it. Just go be.
You can put those trousers on.
You
can do it. You can do it.
And then dad has to walk past in the background and say,
give it in.
Put the trousers on. May I be in need of assistance with the testing. So when I do the cake and pasty bulk buys, then it's kettle on, door open, and all welcome. So there you go.
That sounds fantastic.
That is a lovely offer. Thank you very much. We'll come and eat your confectionery. Not a euphemism. I'm a prepolyamatist. That's
lovely.
I think or agmatist. I think a combination of the three is good, isn't it? 3 elections scheduled for Portugal this year. The Açores regional government, that was in February. Legislative, March 10th, just 2 weeks away. and European
That
Parliament.
is on March 10th. That's the day of the new moon.
Is it? What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
Run towards the fire. That's Stephen White's approach to life. And he's getting good results from it. Look at this is a novel and interesting idea. Identifying as a human. Wow. Okay. That's don't hear that very often. People prefer to be much more exotic than that, generally speaking, don't they? I saw a video of that performance. It was amazing, says Pinky, of Prince. The story I heard is that a Prince had never heard the song until just before he went on stage to play it. I can believe that. Right, more mundane matters. Someone said the CEF had folded. Well, it's now IMA. Their Brexit helpline and website no longer works, that's for sure. One step away from getting my residence card. Keep going, FU, Facebook user. Part of the reason we came to Portugal. This is beautiful. Thank you, Joel. This is a great reminder to get away from the nuttiness and banging our heads against the wall. Fair play, right? Just want to enjoy life and experience the wonder of it.
Yes, and having been up to visit, I can see that you are doing just that.
Let's remember that.
What a lovely, lovely life you've created for yourself.
Yeah. Now, without wanting to take anything away from that, Joel de Nort, would you say as well that the nuttiness and the head banging is kind of creeping up behind or somewhere else? It is the elephant in the room. And do we have we a responsibility collectively to do something about the nuttiness? Because that's the thing about being a prepper, isn't it? The prepper position is moving away from the nuttiness and like having a defensive position against the nuttiness that's coming up the garden drive, up the path, and dealing with it with a gun or something like that. Yeah. The pragmatist says, well, there's always going to be nuttiness, and the Pollyanna says, la 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 la, I'm quite nutty.
Do you know what I really wonder is, you know how like when you see children, and obviously we've both been children, all of us here that's listening have been children at some point. We get and I mentioned the word we get our knickers in a twist, but I mean that's kind of glossing over it. But when patterns go on too long, we get angry and angry and angry. And when nobody will listen to us, and when we don't get the chance to really explain what's going on and to hear ourselves say it, to have someone actually listen and to actually talk about it, it becomes a real big thing. And I wonder with some of the nuttiness that's going on, and by nuttiness, what I mean is like people are getting really, really sort of justified in their anger. They're completely justifying why they're angry, why they're justified to have a particular viewpoint that might other people, completely hate on other people that don't hold the same views as you. I wonder if we could sit down with each and every one of them. Obviously, I can't do it on my own, but I really feel like, whenever I've got so strong in my beliefs about something, it's nearly always come from a hurt. It's come from something where I've not been listened to, where I've not been heard, and I have a fear, and my fear is so big that I cannot think beyond that. Yeah, I'm not trying to reduce, that what's going on in the world, but actually, people who are really, really angry with what's going on right now, they actually do need to be pulled back into the community. Not pulls, because they need to be invited.
Can you enjoy life if you're in a triggered, angry state?
No, nobody
I'm
can.
not sure you can.
Nobody can see all the blessings that they've got in their life when they're in that state.
And then you would reach for righteous anger, wouldn't you? Or like, I am right. Yeah. This needs to be addressed. And we've all been there, haven't we?
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, you get massively projected on because and I've sort of intimated this before. Carl really is a kind of a centrist. Actually, you're not really that political. And so you kind of take the mickey out of all sides of it. And, you've been called like far right by people who identify with being far left. And you've been called, lefty, blah, blah, by people who identify on the far right. And so people get angry at you for having a position that you don't actually hold. But from their viewpoint, you look so far over the other way and you're visible that it's like, well, it's easy just to attack you.
Well, I don't take it personally.
No, it's good. I've learned not to take
it personally.
They've focused on you, so it is personal, but it's not because they actually really know you or have taken any time.
It's definitely personal for them.
Yeah, it's really, really personal for them.
Yeah, but I think you have to, if you put your head above the parapet, you can't complain about people.
Well, I'm not complaining about it. I'm sort of
observing
it.
I'm saying I'm not.
No.
Right. Okay. I think you might need to pop off for a moment.
I think you might need
Mrs.
to,
M will be back in just a little while whilst I cover a few of the comments. I am not sure, but it would not surprise me, however, if you watch the video closely, you do not see him on stage doing a lot until he does his solo. That's Prince we're talking about. That he takes that song to a whole new level. He took music to a whole new level. No question about that. We live in Wales. 99% is total gay. I think that might be grey, right? We live in Wales. 99 is total grey cloud, cover and rain, not natural, I hasten to add. Oh, somebody going into the chemtrail debate there as well. I agree. I think we need to start making it normal to have a different opinion. Thank you, Stephen. What makes us human is the individualism that makes us all different. I would say well said there, sir. Louisa, there are nuts everywhere. I would just file it away in the number 13 bin and move on and have a great day. Nice one. Maybe captains of boats could listen when birthing a ship. What they're... to Mrs. M's hypnotherapy tape. Do not respond to that, Louisa. Tell her to take a flying flipping leap. Joao de Nort on Mrs. M's side with that one there. Everything can't be everything for everyone. Morning, Nubianet. Thank you for that. Wow, what an amazing video you posted up on Facebook. Hope you're safe and well there. Mrs. M, do nothing about one individual's triggering. You can never please all the people all the time. And the road to hell is paved with good intentions, is it not? There is always one plonker ready to jump on the misery coach. Is there such a thing? Leaving from platform 13. The biggest brain of the modern world, or the biggest bane of the modern world, constant pandering to the 0.01%. Thank you, Joao de Nort. Mrs. M, you're doing a great job in helping so many others, says Jackie the Humble Crafter. Don't let it get you down. Keep sharing the love. How lovely. It's always 80-20 rule. You can never, ever please everyone all the time. Thanks, Scott. Good to see you here this morning. Humans are bored. Now, that's a very interesting comment there, Siobhan. Are you suggesting that we are kind of, pulling our own feathers out, kind of bored, that we've lost the point or the plot and we are just sort of turning inward and... yeah, we might have a different focus if only we knew what that might be and what gave us lots of life, love, peace, and joy, and those sorts of things. Bon dia, atrasado de novo. Good morning to you, Suze. And how lazy we must be to demand that other people look after our triggers. Interesting, and it has become a thing. Thank you very much. We have got a lot of people watching this morning. Thank you, each and every one of you. We rival in the morning some of the other non-mainstream, these challenges to the mainstream news agenda. I think it's becoming the MAM instead of the MSM, the mainstream alternative media now. I see them with similar numbers. These are people who spent millions to reach millions, and they have similar numbers to us. I'm very proud of us and what we do here on the Good Morning Portugal show. When there are so many choices in life, you're choosing to be here and have this conversation this morning. So I really appreciate that. Smash the like button. Trump has sure has. He's not letting it go. He's move on, Barack. I believe in taking responsibility for my reactions rather than blaming others for their words. Yeah, you have. Yeah, you walked away after just chucking that. No, a lot of support for you, and the person who got triggered by what you shared in good faith.
May I just add something?
Yeah, of course you can. You might need just put you on the screen to do that. Yeah, there you
go. That was an inopportune time for me to disappear.
Yeah,
when I was talking about, that people might be feeling hurt and, that a lot of our viewpoints are based from, a hurt position. I'm not trying to, sorry, I'm exhausted. I've been running up the stairs. I'm really not trying to belittle the experience that we're all going through.
No, right.
And I'm not just saying it's political either.
Yeah.
We all hold these ideas. I mean, if you think about what happened at the time of COVID, so many families fell out, so many, possibly tight connections just came apart at the seams because we all started othering on each other, and it came from a place of pain. But, when I spoke to people who chose not to vaccinate, and when I spoke to people who chose to vaccinate, they were all coming from a place of fear for humanity. And I know from a vaccinated perspective, you think, well, if you didn't vaccinate, you didn't follow science, and you obviously weren't frightened about not killing people. But a lot of people who chose not to get vaccinated were worried about shedding of the vaccine.
And some of them also chose it as a way to put other people down for being sheep and all these sorts of things.
Yeah.
It's not, when we get into that part of the darkness, if you like, it's not helpful to anyone, is it? And like Doug said, it's identity politics again, isn't it?
Yeah.
We who are being like this, therefore are saying something about the others who aren't.
Yeah.
And that's awkward and difficult and not healthy territory, I would say.
And I don't think all we need is a healing chat, but I do think it starts with, we almost need, people are talking about the rise of the divine feminine, and I actually have a bit of an issue about that. So many people are saying it's important that women are strong and the divine feminine needs to come up against, toxic masculinity. But the very uprising of this feminine energy right now, there's a whole heap of really lovely divine feminine loving energy that's coming up, but there's also this kind of banshee, you have to do this, and you have to kind of squeaky, shrill, angry female energy as well. And I don't think that's what's really necessarily required here. I think we almost need to inhabit our inner grandma. We need the love of a good grandma and a good grandpa.
Yeah, true.
And they have gone missing in recent times.
Yes, haven't they?
They used to be so important in our society, where, because the great thing about them is, they've learned not to give a toss.
Yeah,
because
they've seen life.
Because they've seen life, and they know that, yes, this happens and then this changes, and they can see the whole longevity of
sit down, have
our
a cup of tea
problems.
and a piece of cake.
And
right?
of course, when you're a youngster, when you're new and setting up a family, when you're in your earlier part of your life, everything feels so immediate and so desperate. And actually, we really need the wisdom of our elders.
Well, you might feel like you're on your own, and that's a big feeling for
and
people.
So I'm not, and so I'm really not trying to downplay anything. And I also wonder where we can all see where this hatred for other people exists within ourselves, because I'm pretty sure we all have these standpoints. We all have this. We're all guilty of it. It's not just people who are putting their head up, over the parapet to say, I don't like Trump, or I don't like Biden, or I don't like Portuguese politics, or like
I don't like this and I don't like this.
Yeah, or like Doc yesterday on your show saying, oh, Shagar, like he's, like everybody has these viewpoints. And when you say Shagar, well, they obviously hate people. Well, that's not necessarily true.
We did. To be fair, we decoded some of this name calling. We tackled Stalinist, we tackled far right, far left. I'm hoping it was a useful conversation yesterday, and I have an apology for the Doc.
Do you?
Yeah, because I sent him a message in anticipation of our show yesterday. And when you think you've copied something to the clipboard to send to somebody, which I thought was the show link, I sent him this instead, which you'd obviously put that on in the clipboard, and I sent that to the Doc, and I thought, do you know what? I'm going to leave it, and he didn't even say anything. He has not said anything about me sending a nun and a dove emerging from a labial environment. I'm going to put it.
Sorry, I was talking with a client about how.
Oh, is this?
This is part of my client work. Yes. Well, this is another thing. Talking about the divine feminine.
Yes.
So many people. Oh God, I could get myself in all sorts of hot water here. But isn't it interesting how Mother Mary and the curves of her hood, and her cape also mimic, the look of a vulva or a vagina.
And that's vulva, not Volvo, Doug.
Yes.
Before you start with your nonsense.
Yeah. Right. And also, like, the name Mary is Marie, and it's about the water, it's about the ocean. Yeah. And so the idea that, we've come from the ocean, or all life starts in the ocean, or all life starts from the great vagina, or everything comes from Mother Mary. Who knows? But
we begin as amphibians. We begin as fish, don't we? Fish swim in the womb and then are born amphibious creatures.
Do you know what? I have absolutely no idea. I know what we've all been told happens, but I really don't know what happens.
Okay, all right.
I wasn't there when I wasn't aware of myself.
10 minutes to 10.
Okay.
It's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. So anyway,
had a conversation of this quality.
If I have offended anyone, I'm sorry. It's not my intention. My intention is to explore why people are finding themselves getting irate about stuff, because it's not good for your health. Yeah. And it's not good for you. It's not good for your soul.
Yes.
And I'd love to sit down and talk and find out, what it is you fear.
All right.
Because I may have been in the same situation. I know I have. I've been a real fearful cow in the past, and probably will be. I was going to say bitch, but I chose to change my words at the last minute.
Well done. Okay. So let's go through these. Should we go through them all?
Yeah, let's do.
Okay. And then we'll come back to anything that needs urgent attention in case we've triggered somebody, for example.
Yeah, I believe it's not my intention.
I believe in taking responsibility for my actions rather than blaming others for their words. I don't advocate being mean or rude, but I am responsible for my response nonetheless. Thank you for that, James.
Thank you.
Leaping lizards. Well, we've not talked about them today. It's Leap Day. Davis, Jill Davis. Thank you, Jill, for joining us. If you are listening to a meditation, if you have to filter through which term applies to you whilst listening, it distracts you from following the message. Choose a meditation for your situation.
Yes, thank you, Jill.
And please stop with the gratuitous Trump comments. There you go.
Yep.
A little warning there from John. Some people simply like to be offended. In my opinion, I have had to distance myself from quite a few of those types. They're exhausting. Yeah, well, there is that, isn't there? They can have their own...
And we exhaust ourselves.
They can have their own pity party on the... What was it? The misery coach.
Misery coach.
Yeah, that's what.
I mean, I've totally been there.
Haven't we all?
And I will go there again at some point.
Let's own it all. We took the leap in moving. Here we go. Going back to the quantum leap that 2024 might be. Talking of leaping to Portugal, leaping into the unknown and having a leap of faith on this leap year day. In moving from Portugal to the US, that will have a safer, slower level of chaos. That's an interesting turn of phrase. It's slower, isn't it? And from that, I infer that the same things are in the post, they've just been slowed down, and that's why I think we need to do a little bit of work at the supply end to kind of maybe take things in a different direction while the empire crumbles. There you go. Very interesting, Alison. Wanted to wind, I nearly read that as wind, wanted to wind the clock back to saner days in a saner place. Well,
we were exactly the same.
Absolutely.
We love the fact that our children are growing up in a time that almost seems like it's 20 to 30 years behind the
By the same logic, though, then you're thinking, okay, in 10 or 20 years, it will be the same as where we left from. And I want to be involved in that not happening, quite frankly. Actually,
being just helping us create a more fab place.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Actually, they have robots that put on their pants for what it's worth. So who's that? Okay. So this is the ruling elites have people to put on their pants for them. Maybe I have a story similar to this person. I identify as gorgeous. You are, Deborah. Yet the world refuses to treat me this way. After I emails demanding the world respect my wishes, it makes me so cross.
Oh, Deborah.
Says, new moon, March 10th, election day. Release the werewolves. Is that right? It's a new moon, not a full moon.
It's a new moon.
So none of your werewolf business and your hairy hands, Antonio F. I have to come clean. I have to admit that I was a man in a woman's body. Oof, honestly. A day later, in that way. Sorry, I thought you were talking about something else there. Here is a thought. Do you think society is allowing mental instability, illness to go untreated?
Yeah. Yes, I think it is.
Interesting question. Interesting way of putting it, Stephen. I think we've dropped our bar for human fulfillment and happiness.
Yes,
for sure.
That's true.
We're in the process of legitimizing misery, I think. And I don't think that's a good thing. Sweet factory near you, perfect example. I could eat sweets, put on weight, and still the world would not respect the fact that I'm a size 8. It's so unfair. She's proper triggered over there.
I feel your pain. I really do.
Another challenge we will see over the next 10 years is the silver tsunami. Try saying that. Silver tsunami, retirees will outnumber the workforce.
Yeah.
Now, that is something we will have. That's a reality.
Our children,
not a conspiracy theory.
Well, I mean, our children might need to work as carers, all the children might need to work as carers.
Now, is this life advice? Display and brightness. I'm going to take it as such. I think that's Joao Denort and Marty trying to help Suze with her phone, however. The people I know who chose not to vaccinate were afraid the government were trying to take control of them seriously. I am sure there were some people who thought taking the polio vaccine was bad. That's a can of worms at 6 minutes to 10, Barack. Some people are simply unable to agree to disagree. They have to be right, and the person who disagrees with them always has to be wrong. That is, you don't want to be in the midst of that, really, do you? I also think the rise of some women's feminine energy is why we're living in a health and safety nightmare at work, possibly there. Okay, yeah, a little bit too careful sometimes. It's like the right thing for the right place, is it not? Would that fly if you were to hang that in a nunnery?
I don't think so. I think that
would it fly?
Mary vagina thing.
Dove's flying. The only thing flying there is the dove.
Yeah.
In the picture there. A nunnery as well. That's a lovely word, isn't it? Just reminds me of a joke my dad used to say, which I can't possibly repeat here. And another thing, haven't been able to find bully sticks for taxi. Oh, well, they dog chews anywhere. He's been getting cheap rawhides. That is my big complaint. Otherwise, life is good.
Well, that is amazing.
Isn't that brilliant? Can't get the right
pleased.
dog chews. The wonderful thing about Trigger is triggers are wonderful things. Tops are made out of rubber. Their bottoms are made out of springs. They keep quite handy. Ignorance is actually ignorance, the part of yourself that you deny and fight an external reality.
Yes, I love that.
Who is this woman?
Siobhan,
is she going to be on the Barefoot Broadcasting?
She has been on the Barefoot Broadcast.
Yeah, I'm saying soon. It's going to come back, right?
Yeah.
Don't apologise, Louisa. It will never stop otherwise. Going back to what you were saying before, it will never stop. It's true, actually. It's an unending source of demand. I think you're right. The triggerati only have voice as long as we respond and give attention. They are silenced only by ignoring them. Put your attention elsewhere. Silver Tsunami is already a reality in Japan. Yes, where more nappies are sold for grown-ups than babies. I understand that would be one marker of such a demographic change. Well, I think we've done this justice, and I have. Thank you very, very much, everybody. Is 2024 going to be a quantum leap year for humanity? How are we getting prepared? And that's a serious message I want to give. I think things are going to change quite drastically.
I really think they are.
Yeah, and I think we're in that situation. The Barefoot Broadcast, the Good Morning Portugal show, started in very difficult and challenging times for humanity.
Yeah.
And whatever challenges come our way, I hope we will remain so. We obviously need access to the internet to do so. But let me make a promise to you, or an intention, which is probably better than saying a promise. But my intention is to be around to convene, support a community of people who are going through this change, which I think is coming. Like I said, everyone knows what's going to happen, kind of, don't they? But no one knows when it's going to happen. We know that our empires, our civilization, our way of life is unsustainable in so many ways, or certainly in the way it's being done. And change is going to come and we'll either embrace and be the change, or we'll have changes thrust upon us. Either way, I'm here. Do I speak for both of us to be the sort of co-hosts of this community?
I will support you where I can.
Yeah, thank you very much.
It just has. It can't overtake our family. Our family has.
There you go. There's a divine feminine speaking. There's a divine feminine speaking.
But yeah, it's what we're about.
Yeah. So this came in earlier on.
And that's also just about keeping the conversation going, even if it's not online.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. You know where I am. I've been telling you my WhatsApp number for the last 3 years. I bet she says no. Now, this is another leap year thing.
Oh,
this is where women get a chance to propose to their husbands rather than the traditional way.
Well, no, they don't get to propose to their husbands. They get to propose to the man they're dating, who is taking a really long time to put a ring on it.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
That sounded a little bit of
a
little bit of past pain there, maybe.
Okay, it's true. See, I get triggered. Yeah, I got triggered. I was in a relationship for 11 years that didn't go in quite the same direction I was hoping it would. But anyway, I would like to propose that we go deeper into our marriage. There you go.
Okay.
Can we love each other to a deeper level?
Yes.
And be better friends to each other? I think I need to be a better friend.
Do you?
I think I can. Oh, okay. I think I need to understand you a bit more. And
well, that's very sweet of you. And I think that's perhaps something that could be extended to family, friends, and community.
I'm not marrying everyone here.
No, I know you're not. But that we all be available more to each other.
Yeah.
As a way of dealing with.
Thank you for taking my leap year frivolous proposal and making it global. I'm not marrying your community.
Okay, fair enough. Although you sometimes feel like that. I'm
sure.
I
do. Yeah, I feel like the vicar's wife.
Oh, okay. We're ending 1 minute to 10 on some difficulty. We might need a psychotherapist after the show, or a marriage guidance counsellor. Now, but Louisa, we all love you. There you
really?
Go.
Oh, so that's so sweet, Mark.
No, the question was, and
Likewise.
This cheeky old Deborah Davies, size 8, gorgeous.
Yeah.
Said, I was going to ask you, if we weren't married, would you be proposing to me today? Oh, come on.
No, I wouldn't. Because
Deborah Davies.
No, because I'd learned from my first relationship.
Yeah.
If I try to force anything, it doesn't work. And I don't want somebody to I don't want to force you into loving me. I want you to just do it because that's what happens. So yeah, if we were single,
you say no.
I wouldn't use this opportunity.
You'd be waiting. You'd be saying, okay, March the 1st is coming back to you.
Yeah, and then I might give you like I did with my 11-year relationship. I actually eventually thought, you know what, I'm not going to stick around any longer. And I think that's where I was.
Very good. It's 10 o'clock and we've been gifted. Our poet laureate here has gifted us a poem. Thank you, Owen.
Oh, wow.
This. Oh, the extra day every 4 years. Do we need it so? A question that's been debated for centuries, you see. Some say it's a blessing, a gift from above. Others claim it's a hindrance, a mere fool's love. The leap year brings us an extra day in the sun, a day to play, a day to have fun. But some say it's a waste, a needless fray, a day that throws off our schedules every day. The calendar's math, a delicate balance, a leap year every 4 years, a chance to advance. But what of the farmers, their crops to tend, a day lost, a year's worth of work they must amend. The leap year, a wondrous thing, a day to dream, a day to sing, but also a day of chaos, some say, a day that brings us out of our way. So do we need it, this extra day? Only the wise ones know in their own way. For some, it's a blessing, for others a curse. The leap year, a question forever in verse.
Wow! Great ending. That's
fantastic.
So good.
A happy ending here. A leap into a lovely bonus day in our lives. Live it fully as well.
Absolutely.
Coming, and well done, Owen. So coming from Alison there, that's a lovely little greeting for us, or a little serving suggestion for today.
Display and brightness plus added bold. Thanks.
Very good. You're welcome. And did you know?
We love you guys. That's nice.
The two meaning. Thank you very much for that. Did you know the two meanings of child? We are always a child of our parents, and no matter what our age. That's so true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you, Squire of the Shires. Good morning to you as well, and thank you everyone for being here this morning. And the newer names, Pinky, for example. Good to see you back on the screen again, Mrs. M. Thank you for joining me this morning. Did you enjoy yourself?
Yeah, I did. It was great fun.
Okay, and
thank you, everyone.
Where would you put yourself then on this? Just finally.
Oh,
right in the middle.
Do you know what? We're not really prepping anymore. Although I've made lots of healing elixirs. Like we've got loads of fermented food and stuff on the side. Mm-hmm. Put it back on. So
okay. Put it back on.
We were very much in the prepper. I think I'm pragmatist. I think we've got the skills that we need. And the ones that we don't, we've got the right attitude and connections to be able to backfill. And a Pollyanna. So I'm a polyprag.
You identify as.
That's my new pronoun. I'm a polyprag.
Very good. Okay, thanks everybody. Take care. Bye for now. And we'll see you tomorrow for some more, even more Feel Good Friday fun. I'll see you then. Ciao, ciao. Bye for now.